Welcome, Junior Panthers, to your first mid-module assessment review. And in class, we've been going over place value, and if you look to the left there, you can see that we have covered how each place is 10 times the value of the place to its right. You know how to compare numbers, round numbers, and also write them in standard word and expanded forms. So if you are ready, let's do this. All right, so let's take a look at number 1. On here, it wants us to arrange the following numbers in order from least to greatest. So I'm going to underline that. You should be 2, so make sure we get them in the correct order. And then you guys have gotten so good at this, so let's go ahead and draw our place value chart. Remember, you can always pause the video if I'm going too fast for you. Make sure you spell them correctly. So we have our ones, tens, hundreds, then we're going to go to our thousands, 10,000s, and 100,000s. All right, now we're going to go ahead and place our numbers in our chart. So in our first one here, we have 603,257. Then we have 5,560. Then we have 604,275. And last we have 55,600. All right, now remember, if we're looking for least to greatest, we're going to go with the least amount of digits first. So if you look at this number right here, it only goes to the thousands. So that's going to be our least number. So I'm going to come up here and write 5,560. And then if we look in our chart, we see that this number only goes to the 10,000s. So that would be our next number, 55,600. And then if we look at our last two numbers, we're going to compare the place values. So we have a 6 in the 100,000s, a 0 in the 10,000s. All right, but then if we look at our thousands place, we see we have a 3 and a 4. So that tells me that the 3 is less than. So I know that 603,257 will be the next number in our list. And then that leaves us 604,275 as the greatest number. Ooh, I wrote the wrong digit there. Let's see. $275. All right. All right, so now we're going to take a look at comparing numbers. And this is when we're going to use our greater than, our less than, or our equal sign. And we're going to compare unit numbers to standard numbers in these. So remember, our unit number, we can just change it into our standard number. Well, when we look at the 3, it tells us that there's a 3 in the 100,000 spot. So if I have a 3 in the 100,000 spot, it's going to look like this, 300,000. When I look at that number, I can tell that 300,000 is greater than 30,000. All right, now if I have 100,000s, that's going to be in my thousands period. And then I have 600s, it's going to be in my hundreds. Then that's 100,600. And if I'm comparing that to 106,000, I can look and see that these are the same. These are the same. But looky here, we have a difference. So I know that 0 is less than 6. So I know 100,600 is less than 106,000. All right, so let's take a look at C and D now, and this one's a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a place value chart on here. So let's go ahead. On your paper, you should be doing the same as me. I want to make sure we get this right. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, hundred thousands. And then we have our whopping millions. Whoop, whoop. All right, so taking a look at letter C, it says we have 300s. So I'm going to place a 3 in my hundreds place. 5,000s. And then we have 13 ones. Now notice 13 ones has 2 digits. So I can't place both of those digits in my ones place. I place my 3. And that means my 1 has to go in my tens place, because that 1 10 and 3 ones is equal to 13 ones. All right, so that's 5,313. Now we're going to compare that to 6,000s. Come down here and put a 6. 200s, and nothing else. So these are filled in with zeros. So now when I look at it, I can look at that thousands place and see that my 5,000s is going to be less than 6,000. So I can go up here and put my less than sign. All right, and let's try the next one. I'm just going to leave my same chart. I'm just going to change my color to blue. All right, and this one says 40 hundred thousands in unit form. So if I go to my hundred thousands place up here, or down here, then I have to place 40. But remember, I cannot put two or both digits in the 100,000 spot. I have to put my 0, and my 4 is going to go in my million spot. So that's 40 hundred thousands. And then the rest of this just gets filled in with zeros. All right, so now when we look at that, we can see that we have 4 million. And looky here, we have 4 million here. So guess what? 40 hundred thousands is equal to 4 million. All right, so the football stadium at Auburn University has a seating capacity of 87,392. The population of Jacksonville, Florida is approximately 10 times the amount of people that Auburn Stadium can seat. What was the population of Jacksonville? So, before we get started, can I get a War Eagle? All right, so we have 87,392. If I want to make that 10 times greater, remember, if we do our number chart, I know you guys are getting so good at this, so I'm going to do it again. Can't complain because I'm doing everything with you. Ones, tens, hundreds. We have thousands, 10,000s, and 100,000s. All right, so when we place our number in the chart, don't forget you can pause the video at any time if I'm going too fast. We have 8 10,000s, 7,000s, 300s, 9 10s, and 2 1s for 87,392. If I need 10 times the amount, notice I'm circling that, you should too. Remember, our places have to move over to the next place because each place is 10 times the place to its right. Remember that? So we're going to move these over. 8, 7, 3, 9, 2, and then that means I'm going to place a 0 in my ones place. So if I wanted to find out the approximate, remember approximate just means estimate of the population of Jacksonville, it would be 873,920. And I'm just going to circle that because that's my answer. I won't have to rewrite it. Okay? Good job. All right, so now we're going to write that seating capacity of the Auburn Stadium, War Eagle, in word and expanded form. So I'm going to go ahead and circle word, and I'm going to circle expanded because those are the two things that I'm looking for. Now, the cool thing with word form is if you can say the number, then you can write it in word form because whatever you say is exactly what you write. So let's start out with our thousands period. We know we have 87,000. So we're going to write 87,000. And don't forget to put your comma after that. 87,000, and then we have 392. So we're going to write out 392. And that is how we write word form. Now with expanded form, we're going to take the value of each digit. So we're going to take the value of this 8. This 8 is in the 10,000 spot. If I have 8 10,000s, then I have 80,000. Then I'm going to look at my 7. It's in the thousands place. So if I have 7 thousands, then I have 7,000. Plus, our 3 is in our hundreds place. So 300s is 300, plus our 9 is in the tens place. If I have 9 tens, I have 90. And then last we have 2 ones, which is 2. So expanded form, you should have 80,000 plus 7,000 plus 300 plus 90 plus 2. All right, so we're moving on to our last problems. And this time we're going to be talking about rounding numbers. Everybody say, oh yeah. All right, so we're going to draw 2 separate number lines to round the Auburn Stadium seating capacity to the nearest 10,000 and to the nearest 1,000. So that means I'm going to have 2 number lines. And we're going to draw our vertical number lines. We're going to start out with our 10,000. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to draw that vertical number line. We have a starting point, ending point, and then we have that midpoint, okay? If we're doing 10,000, we know the 8 is in the 10,000s place. So that means our number line is going to start at 80,000. So it's going to be somewhere between 80,000 and 90,000. Now if I want that midpoint, okay, halfway between 80 and 90,000, that next digit after the 8 has to become a 5 because 5 is half of 10. So it's going to be 85,000. Now I can look at my number and I see that I have 87,000. Well, I know that 87 is greater than 85. So 87,000 is going to fall somewhere around here. And I know that 87,392, if I round it to the nearest 10,000, is going to be closest to 90,000. So if I round it to the nearest 10,000, it's going to be 90,000. All right, so now let's draw another vertical line. Only this time, we're going to do it to the nearest 1,000. So let's go ahead and draw our number line. We have our beginning, our ending, and then our midpoint here. All right, so now if I'm going to the nearest 1,000, I'm going to underline that 7. That's in my 1,000 spot. If I have 87,000, then I need to start at 87,000. And it's going to fall between 87 and 88,000. Now, when I want to find that midpoint, remember that next digit after that 7 has to become 5 because half of 10 is 5. So we're going to do 87,500. All right, so when I look at this, I'm going to go over here to my hundreds place. It's 300. And I know that 87,300 is less than 87,500. So I know that it's going to be somewhere around here on my number line. So 87,392 is closest to 87,000. So I know when I round it to the nearest 1,000, it's 87,000. All right, now when I'm comparing the stadium seating rounded to the nearest 10,000 and the seating rounded to the nearest 1,000, I can compare those two numbers. So if I were to compare them, I would write 90,000 and 87,000. And I look at my 10,000s place. I have 9 10,000s or I have 8 10,000s. And I know that 9 10,000s is greater than 8 10,000s. Underline your digits that you're comparing, and that way we can see how you came to that answer. All right, now the last question on here, it says which estimate, and it says rounding to the nearest 10,000 or the nearest 1,000 is more accurate. And I'm not going to tell you this answer. I want you to come up with your own conclusion on this, and I want you to share it with me tomorrow when you come to class. Which one of these estimates would be closest or more accurate to use? So write your answer for that and your reasoning behind that. Bring to class tomorrow and get ready to take that test. You're going to rock it.